What's good, Ravens fans? Welcome to Ravens Space Daily, where we just talk about a topic every single day. And today we're going to talk about an article from PFF talking about the team of the week. So let's get right into it. If you guys do not know, PFF goes through and picks the team of the week. It's kind of like the all-pro team, but just for that week. And they give out player awards too. Now, the Ravens didn't get any player awards, I don't believe, this week. Let me just make sure. Yep. But we did have a lot of players on the team of the week, and I do want to talk about it because I think it's something. It's important. It's a big deal. Oops. Sorry about that. Struggle streaming already. Shout out to the lead. All right. So let's get into it. First, Raven on here. Receiver Demarcus Robinson. If you guys don't know, Demarcus Robinson had a banner of a week and had one of the highest PFF grades of the entire week for any player, and especially at receiver. So for his grade, Demarcus Robinson got 91.5, which is an elite grade based on Pro Football Focus. Again, you guys know what I've been talking about Demarcus Robinson. Go back a couple of weeks ago from that Tampa Bay game. I'd said, hey, it looks like to me he has some juice. In that game, they were just using him, on crossers and, screens. But I said, let's give him the ball a little bit more, right? Let's see what he can do. Now, the game after that, against the Saints, he was open a lot. Lamar just missed him sometimes. Lamar missed him a couple of times, actually. So, again, he didn't have a great game. Bye week came this week. Open all over the field, made tough catches on the sideline, made some tough catches in between traffic, and again, just provided that number 2 receiver ability, but he rose to the occasion and became a number 1 this week. Now, is he going to do this every week? I don't think so. That's why I said number 2 ability. Again, I just don't know if we have a number 1 receiver ability guy, but we all know that every given Sunday, a new player can step up and be that guy, right? And so some weeks is going to be Demarcus Robinson. Some weeks is going to be Devin Duvernay. I don't ever think it'll be James Prochet, but that's why I am no James. But it's just a lot of different things. Demarcus is balling out his last 3 weeks. Even though the numbers are only there for 2 of the 3 weeks, again, because there were a lot of throws missed during that Saints game, I think that he has been arguably the most consistent offensive player these last 3 weeks when it comes to getting open and making people miss altogether. Again, Isiah Likely the last 3 weeks has had some really, really great games. So you can't ever count him out from the last 3 weeks. But I think Demarcus Robinson has it. I'm super happy to see him on his list. And basically just saying that, hey, he was the best receiver this week, according to Pro Football Focus, which is what people use. A lot of you guys ask me, why do we talk about Pro Football Focus? The reason is because everyone else talks about it, right? When the NFL has intros, and then below the intro it says rated number 1 out of 32 from Pro Football Focus, that means the NFL is acknowledging that these have some kind of ability to rank it, right? I mean, they have some kind of ability, right? Because the NFL is saying, yes, let's do it. So shout out to Demarcus. Next is Ben Powers here. Surprising to me. Sorry about that. It's really surprising Ben Powers' ranking here. Surprising because I didn't think the offensive line played that great of a game. Now, there are plays, though, where Ben Powers does dominate in the run game. That touchdown play that Lamar had this week, where he, forced his way into the end zone. If you watch that play again, and we are going to have a video on our channel, reacting to some analysis, you will see that Ben Powers whips his man's butt and is pushing him into the end zone, even though the play's not even to his side. So, again, Ben Powers played a good game. I don't know if it was the second best, or the first best left guard game in the league. I just thought that the Panthers really dominated. So I was surprised to see him up here. But again, the scouts at Pro Football Focus gave your boy 86.8, right, in the 5th highest score. So just overall, very impressive outing from Ben Powers. It seems I'm going to watch some film on it, guys, and I'm going to let you guys know. But if he had that good of a game, he must have been the only offensive lineman really dominating. And most of the big runs were to the left side, which he's a big part of. So shout out to Ben Powers. But he was the second player. Oh, sorry about that. He was the second player on the Ravens to get on this list. And those are all the players we had on offense for this week. Again, wasn't a great week for our offense. So to see Demarcus Robinson get on there and Ben Powers when many other teams played is impressive. So again, I'm trying to see no Jacksonville Jaguars, who's the opponent we have next week. So great on us. Great on us. All right. So this is what we want to talk about. Bummed out here, guys. I'm bummed out. I want to talk about it. First, I want to talk about who's not on this list here before we talk about who is on this list. Who's not on this list is Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen had one of, if not the best game I've seen Ravens linebacker play since the great one was here. It was awesome. It was awesome. And I'm talking about specifically middle linebacker, of course. His ability, when you have Roquan Smith there, his ability to locate where he needs to be and to get his body there quickly and decisively, when he knows he doesn't have to be the guy that make sure everyone else is doing what they got to do, right? He doesn't have to be the guy to cover up for other people now, right? Leave that to Roquan, because Roquan wants the responsibility, and that's what he was doing in Chicago for a number of years. Patrick is going, he's moving, he's getting, he put it all together this game, guys, and he's had some great games this year. And this particularly, he had some great games where he either was great at run defense or he was great in pass defense and good in run defense. But this game, when you watch the film, he was great in all aspects of the game. He was great in his man defense. He was great in his pass rush. He was great in his run defense. He was great in his zone. There are plays on play action where he's doing exactly how you teach it, where you take your step up as a linebacker to prevent the run. As soon as you see the play action, you run back into your zone, you find a man, you cut it off. It was beautiful. So shout out to Patrick Queen. He was not on this list. And again, and I'm spoiling some of the other guys on this list for you, but it's okay because we're going to talk about them now. Let's talk about Kyle Hamilton first. So you guys know I've been hard on Eric DeCosta just because I feel like he's let the offense down. But what you can say though is that Kyle Hamilton was absolutely the right pick at that position. Kyle Hamilton, if he stays healthy, is going to be the Baltimore Ravens safety for the next 10 years. He's a safety, so you don't really have to pay him that much for the next 10 years. And his ability to do everything, if Wink Martindale had Kyle Hamilton, he would love it. Kyle Hamilton, guys, is at a high level playing around linebackers, playing in the slot, playing safeties, playing deep. He does everything. So he got on here. He did get injured, so again, which is probably one of the reasons he was not ranked higher, overall. But because of his just excellent ability, he did make it and was one of the best safeties of the week. So shout out to Kyle Hamilton again. And one thing he's really improved on too is his ability to make one-on-one tackles. He was bad at it in the preseason and in the beginning of the season. Now he's doing it consistently against running backs, against receivers. So shout out to Kyle. All right, let's talk about the things that the Baltimore Ravens envisioned. Right, when this team was built, this is what they envisioned, guys. They envisioned having great cornerbacks who can lock people up and allow their older pass rushers to get to the ball, allow their safeties to do multiple things, not have to just play back all the time. And this is what happened this week, ladies and gentlemen. So let's first talk about Marcus Peters. Actually, we can talk about them at the same time because they're a duo. You know, they are probably, arguably, the best duo when they're healthy. Now, I don't think they've been healthy all season, specifically Marcus Peters, but Marcus Peters looks like he's getting better and he's getting more used to that, recovering from that injury. So let's just do this, guys. And look at Marlo, just feeling good, living his best life. Okay, all right. 91.9, ladies and gentlemen. That is an elite rating from Pro Football Focus. Marcus Peters got a 90.2. That's an elite rating from Pro Football Focus. And Patrick Queen got a 90.6. That's an elite rating. That's 3 elite ratings from Pro Football Focus, ladies and gentlemen. And two of the 3 were corners. That is crazy, guys. That is insane. That is insane. And so they were locked up. Now, we know how great Marlon Humphrey is. And this is actually the best version of each of these players. And that's the interesting thing. We know that Marlon is most impactful when he's covering people, he's locking them up. He can travel with them. He can go inside, outside. That's when he's most impactful, okay? And that's what we allowed him to do, right? That's why, for example, he was right next to Marcus Peters when Marcus Peters forced a fumble. Marcus Peters was the best version of himself this week as well. Marcus Peters will always let up a couple of catches, right? And that's what happened this game too. I think one of the big plays that they did get on offense, it was because Marcus Peters played outside in instead of inside out. I don't know what the coverage was, so maybe that wasn't his fault. There's always a possibility, right? I'm only going by who the stats say is the closest defender. But he was there to make a play. He just couldn't because maybe he was thinking something else or whatever. Let the inside. It was like a goal, or stop and go, but to the inside. But the pass was thrown to the inside. He couldn't get over. That's what happened. But what Marcus Peters will do every game, and he's been doing this every game, he will put himself in position to make a big play. And he did that a couple of times this game. Now, something that's been happening with Marcus Peters, which is a little bit concerning long term, is that he's been dropping interceptions. So he should have 3 or 4 interceptions on the year, but he doesn't. He has like 1. But he is great at getting the ball loose. Interceptions, fumbles, and he's a playmaker. He's just a dynamic, game-changing corner, and that's what he'll be remembered for. Revis was a lock-up guy. Marlon's more like Revis, right? But Peters is just, he always, again, that play that he forced the fumble, he had a chance to get an interception, and then forced the fumble. So, again, these two had a great game. Again, I'm surprised to see Ben here, but I might, I think the ranking is fine. I thought Patrick Queen had an awesome game. I probably would move Patrick Queen to number 1, but that's just me. But yeah, so again, I just wanted to go over that with you guys. Like I said, a topic every day. I'm sorry. Again, still struggle streaming. So you guys can see the list here. Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, both Ravens, Kyle Hamilton, Baltimore Raven on the list. And then, of course, on offense, again, you have Ben Powers and you have Demarcus Robinson. So you guys let me know what you guys think of this here list. I want you guys' opinion. I want you guys to talk to me because this is why I do it for you. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.